Understanding Title Reports and Title and Escrow in Arizona Real Estate class. Introduction. Welcome to this course on Title Reports, Title and Escrow in Arizona Real Estate. As a real estate professional, you already know that every successful transaction ends with a closing. But what happens behind the scenes in title and escrow is often the difference between a smooth transaction and one filled with delays, disputes, and liability. This class is designed to take something that many agents find intimidating and break it down into easy, practical steps. You'll learn how to read and explain a title report, what escrow actually does, and how Arizona law and commissioners' rules shape the way these processes must be handled. Our focus is on real-world application. We'll use examples from actual Arizona transactions, like how a lien can derail a closing in Phoenix, or how a buyer in Tucson might run into problems with an unrecorded deed, so you can see how these concepts affect your day-to-day business. By the end of this course, you will be able to recognize the legal foundation of title and why it matters. Understand the escrow process and your responsibilities as an agent. Identify red flags in title commitments and exceptions. Protect your clients and yourself by staying compliant with Arizona statutes and commissioners' rules. Let's get started with the basics. What title really means in Arizona real estate. Chapter 1. Foundations of Title and Escrow in Arizona. Section 1.1. Purpose of title in real estate. When we talk about title in real estate, we are talking about more than just a piece of paper. Title represents the legal rights of ownership to property. Whoever holds title has the ability to possess the land, use it, sell it, or transfer it. Subject, of course, to any restrictions such as easements, liens, or HOA rules. In Arizona, clear title is essential to protecting property rights. Without it, ownership can be disputed, challenged, or diminished in value. For example, imagine a buyer purchases a home in Mesa, only to discover months later that a contractor recorded a lien for unpaid work by the seller. If the lien wasn't addressed before closing, that lien now clouds the buyer's title, and the buyer may be forced to resolve a problem they didn't create. This is why the title review process is so critical. Legal title versus equitable interest. It's important to understand that there are two different ways of looking at ownership: legal title and equitable interest. Legal title is the actual ownership recorded with the county recorder. If your name is on the deed, you hold legal title. Equitable interest means you don't yet own the property legally, but you have a future right to obtain ownership because of a binding contract. Here's a practical example. A buyer in Gilbert signs a purchase contract and deposits earnest money into escrow. They don't have legal title yet because the deed hasn't been recorded in their name, but under Arizona contract law, they have an equitable interest in the property, meaning they have a legal right to complete the purchase once conditions are met. This distinction becomes especially important in transactions like lease options or seller finance deals, where buyers may hold equitable interest for a period of time before gaining full legal title. As an agent, you must be able to explain to your clients that until a deed is recorded, they may not have full ownership protection. How title transfers in Arizona. ARS Paragraph 33-401. So how does title officially move from one party to another? In Arizona, the law is very clear. ARS Paragraph 33-401 requires that any transfer of real property must be made through a deed in writing, signed by the grantor. The type of deed being used determines the level of protection the new owner receives. A warranty. Deed guarantees clear title, covering both the period of the seller's ownership and all prior transfers. A special warranty deed only guarantees against issues that arose during the seller's ownership. A quitclaim deed makes no guarantees at all. It simply transfers whatever ownership interest the seller has, if any. For instance, if a seller in Scottsdale wants to move a property into their family trust, their attorney might use a quitclaim deed. This transfer is perfectly legal once signed and recorded with the county under ARS. Paragraph 33-401. However, if the same seller is transferring to a buyer who is getting a loan, the lender will almost certainly require a warranty deed to ensure that the buyer receives clear and marketable title. Why title establishes ownership rights? Title is more than a technicality. It's what gives property owners their rights. Ownership rights are often described as a bundle of rights, and title is what secures those rights legally. The right of possession. Who has the right to live on or use the property? The right of control. Who can decide how the property is used within zoning or HOA restrictions? The right of exclusion. Who can prevent others from entering the property? The right of disposition. Who has the authority to sell or transfer the property? A real-world case makes this clear. A buyer in Phoenix closed on a property but delayed recording the deed with Maricopa County. During the delay, a fraudulent deed was recorded by another individual claiming ownership. Because the buyer's deed wasn't properly recorded, clearing up ownership became a long and expensive legal battle. The simple act of recording title immediately would have prevented the problem. Bringing it back to you as an agent. Clients often view title as just more paperwork, but as an Arizona real estate agent, you know it's the foundation of ownership. Your job is not to practice law, but you are required under Commissioner's Rule R428-1101 to protect and promote the interests of your client. That means helping them understand the significance of clear title, the type of deed being used, and the protections available to them. When you explain to a buyer that title ensures their right to live in, control, and sell the property without legal disputes, you're not just teaching, you're protecting them from risk. And when you know the statutes like ARS, paragraph 33401, you show your clients that you are a knowledgeable professional they can trust.